Welcome to the Mailbag, powered by puntingform.com.au. The Mailbag's also powered by interns now. Curlio's up and about, dominating, just steering these boys around the park like a real veteran, Cam Smith-like. You've been enormous this week, Shane, on and off the track. Pistol Pete, back to your best from Kalgoorlie. You back with us now?
I'm betting about the same levels. We're finding horses that are crunching in price and not even placing. So that's exactly how I like them.
But you are mentally and physically sort of starting to re-emerge from your little slumber.
Look, I'll put it this way. The sooner you realise you're already dead, the better your life can be full-time. So I'm back to resuming my life as a tulpa, possibly in this dimension, maybe in a different dimension. But that's the way that I enjoy things.
Okay. The betting plan for the non-payers last week at Flemington, a little bit of a strip, and I apologise about that. I think Gunstock probably should have won the race. We were stiff there. We found some steamers in the other race, but then Jai rode a great race the race after slaughtering Gunstock. So that's racing. And then Very Elegant, who was 240 into 210, looked like it was going to just gap them at the 400. We've talked about it in the deep dive. The narrative around it is that the horse is completely gone. I'd be trusting the price, trusting the champion horse moving forward. Shane, what do you reckon?
No, look, the Very Elegant is gone. It petered out in the autumn when it was tossing up those disgusting figures when winning, and it was brutally exposed here down against the A-graders in Melbourne, and I think that Chris should put it on a truck and send it back up to beat up on those C-graders in Sydney, because it ain't winning down here.
I reckon he would have tucked into a few wicked wings, just after that race went around, because his star horse didn't deliver. But then the data came back. I think it's well worth following. Pistol, you?
I'm well and truly on her bandwagon. Do you reckon the plan was to ride her that aggressively in the early stages? Usually she's a bit cooler than that.
Didn't suit.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the times, I think you just have to trust the clock, not trust your eye in this situation, because she looked like she was handling it, but I don't think she was. She wobbled. She copped that knock from young Werther, or as Matty Hill calls it, young Werther.
Young Werther.
With a V.
Yep.
Bring back TV.
Yeah, look, I suppose she's not the easy. She hasn't always been the easiest ride, Very Elegant. Like J-Mac's ridden her all the time, and she's had to be wrestled with to settle on a few occasions, and you could probably forgive D Lane for one, but I won't be.
Yeah, well, that's racing, isn't it? It's all about opinion, Shane. Speaking of opinions, we're going to have a fair bit of pressure on us next week to get our opinions right in the world's biggest punters club with Punt Club Boys. We've got 48,500 in the kit already, and 775 punters so far. This time next week, we will have had a bet.
How exciting.
Very exciting.
I bought in.
Feel a bit left out. All the talks about Caulfield Cup and Everest, but don't forget that we have the Class 6,000 metres at Eagle Farm also on the day, worth 42,000 to the winner. So we'll be betting in Queensland also, just if you're wondering.
We'll be betting in New South Wales, Victoria, both provincial and metro meetings there. We'll be tackling 3 to 4 meetings, Shane, in Queensland. And at least one. Where are we betting in Perth?
As of
Pistol.
This Saturday, we're back at headquarters, Ascot Racecourse.
Beautiful. And stay tuned next week for a brand new content segment that Shane and I have been working on that involves Peter, and Peter identifying horses to follow and put into your file. So let's look at Caulfield, guys.
Okay, Jack.
The Toorak Handicap Group 1, Race 9. The market. I'm Thunderstruck, $2.80 best available Thursday morning from Elephant, $5.50. Dice rolls 10. Tofane is 11. Sierra Sue is 12. Superstorm 14. Second slip 17. All right, Dickens, you've been declaring I am Thunderstruck for however long.
Yep. Yep. $6 was around when we were sort of pushing it. I'd much prefer to take that than the 280, but I'm happy taking the 280. I think this horse will start shorter. I think it's the progressive horse in this race. I'm going to talk about the speed map first, though. I think So You Assume will roll across. Elephant gets a really nice run and probably gets supported because of it from 5. Second Slip and Dice Roll sort of fight out for either 1A or the Coffin. Could see So You Assume roll right across, put Second Slip, say, into the Coffin, and then Freddie Curzon get pushed back 3 back the fence there on Dice Roll. I think Tefane will try and stay off the fence, which pushes Quantum Mechanic and Asar sort of a bit wide, and decisions need to be made with those 2 riders, which are Craig Newitt, who's going to not sort of want to be aggressive, and then Asar's Harry Coffey. So this is a big race for Harry, big opportunity, tricky sort of. It looks tricky to me what he's going to have to make a quick decision there. I don't know where Luna Fox and Harbour Views get from those wide draws. Luna Fox we've seen show some speed occasionally. Sierra Sue, Irish Flame, Your Horse, Superstorm Pistol, Embolism, and I'm Thunderstruck will be well worse in midfield in the back third. I do think I'm Thunderstruck. He's either going to ride this completely cold, which I don't want him to do, and circle out of like complete fear of and remembering what he did last time when he tried to cut the corner on one horse and one horse only and got it wrong. Or the map sort of looks like if he jumps okay, he can get up inside even horses like Luna Fox and Harbour Views, which is just be worse than midfield. But then when he gets there, he is going to need to sort of pray that the gates open at some point.
Did settle midfield on a fast tempo at Sale. So it has the capability of actually doing what you're saying.
100% has the capability. This is a grand final, though, so you know they're going to overanalyze and really think it through. The stable does have Quantum Mechanic in the race, and they're drawn right next to each other. So if it was able to sort of get up inside of it, even then it's if this thing settles like 3 back, 1 off in the run, get your laptop out and just start. That's perfect. I think the favourite is he's just going to flush out the back and just hopefully swoop around them via the car park and win.
Well, we demanded, well, not we, sorry, let me rephrase. You demanded that he did that last start, Jack. So I don't want to hear any excuses on the deep dive Monday when he sits back, circles them and doesn't get over the top, okay?
I think that's what he's going to do, and I think it'll be good enough. I'd prefer that he rode with some like intent and pick some gaps from like the 800 and started weaving through. That's what I prefer. If I own the horse, we'd be saying, I want you to jump and be as positive as you can. Because there's a bunch of them who'll just be like waiting their turn, like Embolism, Superstorm, Harbour View, Sierra Sue, and just be like a peloton getting wider and wider. And if we're the last one, it's not even up to dry sometimes in those situations. As when does like Damien Oliver decide to pull the whip on Superstorm, for example?
Based on your map, with the anticipation that Harbour Views won't be as forward as what you're hoping it will be, but it's more likely to map back. What horses settle in front of it and take off and put a gap on them and get in ahead of it that you would be worried about running down?
Elephant, Dice Roll. Fascinated by Asar. We backed it last week at Flemington. I think this is like they backed up again and again. It was good two ago at Caulfield. I don't think Tefane wants a 1600. I think Dice Roll is going to get a beautiful run. I think Elephant's got the same sort of scopy profile that I think I'm Thunderstruck definitely has. But I was thinking if we kick up, we can push out the Luna Foxes, the Harbour Views, the Irish Flames. They'll be struggling if the tempo's good. And he saves a stack of ground.
I have a question regarding Tefane. Did it get beaten like by a better horse, and as opposed to didn't get a 1600? If it ran like that in a Group 3 lead-up race, it probably wins over the mile, and then we're saying that it might get the mile. Like it was, like is it going to get the peach Craig Williams?
I think it gets a mile. It's just
hit the front at the 200.
I don't think it's going to get that because it's at the mile. Whereas at 400, it would hit the front of the 200 sort of thing. I think he's going to be cautious with it. It's a very, very, very good horse.
It's a Group 1 winner.
But if you look at the breakdown, it was entitled to accelerate through the last 200 metres at Flemington. It's an outstanding form reference and got even better last week. But he slowed down the last 200. I just think off that, like his runs at 1400 metres, more often than not, he's almost slowing through the line. Particularly then the 600 metre run, he's slowed through the line. I just think Craig will. I think he's going to get a great run, but I think it'll be over bet, and I just don't think it's a fair price.
It's also a great horse to be drawn right next door to with I'm Thunderstruck. Because if Craig goes to the fence, you can sit on the outside of it. If Craig's holding one off, you can just slot, just go right behind it, hold your position, don't get knocked, don't get put onto the fence.
Assuming they think about that.
Yeah, to clarify my view, I hope that Jai and Mick Price and Kent Jr. aim for intent and back Jai to weave a passage. But I fear that they'll sneak and be real negative and swoop, and I reckon we're still a good chance of being good enough doing that.
Fascinating race, but extremely talented horse, the one we're talking about. I'm not sure you can really dive into anything else. Sure, there's going to be a few people that like Dice Roll and Elephant, but for me, it's either you're with the fave or nothing here.
There's a couple of spanners next to names on puntingform.com.au, which piqued some interest. Superstorm gets the blinkers back on, and Luna Fox, who was the 300 to 1 SP winner of the
Peter Backton
autumn, whatever it was, Guineas, Kennedy Oaks, Kennedy something. It also gets the blinkers back on. I don't want to take too much time talking about the race, but does that make a big difference to you for Superstorm Pistol being a Westie's best operator?
No, it'll be 40 lengths off him. No, not literally, but it will need the right passage. You'll need to see them making ground. You need to see the wide lanes in play. There's a lot of need to seize.
I like Superstorm as a horse, but like barrier 10 for it versus barrier 4 for I'm Thunderstruck, like Jai's actually got the option to jump and be positive. Yep. Ollie doesn't.
Yep. Great analysis, guys. Thanks for answering my questions.
Full stop. Let's move on.
Yep.
And Luna Fox, I mean, I'll take the 300s again. Caulfield, race 8, Caulfield Guineas, Group 1. Animo, 270, Taurus is 390, double figures the rest.
I'm confused. I love this race normally, and I think we've had pretty good results in it. But you cannot back Animo until you've seen that the track's fair, which is favourite not to be, to Caulfield. We have had a lot of rain recently, and it looks nice. It was nice yesterday. It looks nice today. So that'd be perfect conditions for Saturday. So you'd hope it's fair because they won't have to water. But Lightsaber leads. Tiger of Malay kicks up from 1. I think Zarel uses 7. Mr. Mozart will roll forward. Knightstown, and then I think this horse Curls gets almost run of a race here. Alpine Edge. And I think
come back to me.
I think it's the most like if you look at the prices, I reckon it might be the most responsible way to wager in this race is Alpine Edge. Just a really small bet. It's going to get the right run. Queenslanders go all right in this race as a rule. Not that I'm just saying that as like a TV person trying to justify why I like it, just adding on a bit more shit like they do. But like, I just remember a couple of Queenslanders going all right.
That was a fucking ridiculous statement, but yeah, well done.
Yeah, I sort of checked myself straight away. I think Artorias from 2, like it can be not last, but probably will be, and he's going to have to circle them. I think Artorias and Animo will come with big bounding runs down the outside, and it'll just be a case of if one of these horses that's settled on the speed stops or not. And it's often how this race, in my short memory, is, like you think of Super Seth, and it might have been, was Super Seth Alligator Blood? I don't know what.
Blood led and Super Seth got him.
Yeah,
on the line.
they were 20 metres apart on the track, and they were never close until they were right on the line. I think this will be the same sort of shape here because Ollie's going to have to go back, and so Artorius, if that's a huge if D Lane just decides fuck it, I'm going to roll the dice here, Glenn Boss style. Artorius could win if he gets all the runs, or it could be a complete car crash. What would you do if you were D Lane? Would you just like watch a few bossy replays and just go fuck it? I'm going for gold here. I don't think I can sneak and run over the top of Animo.
Why wouldn't he just watch a few D Lane replays and just put the horse into the race from the gate?
Because the horse doesn't have a stack of speed.
Yeah,
the mile's a different proposition, mate. Yeah. All these horses get into the mile first time prep, mate. Most of them, it's different tempos. I don't know.
They did talk about doing that earlier in this prep when it drew inside when Curry was on board, and it was a bit of a just nothing jump out of the barrier. I wouldn't be surprised if D Lane manages to get it to go better than that from the gate.
Yeah, interesting.
Anyway, saying
you
no
sound
bet.
Stressed about it, Kels. No, well, we need to talk about it.
Yep.
We need to talk about him. So,
okay,
have you been in touch with the yard?
Alpine Edge.
Or are you going to? God, the sheets don't like it.
I'll tell you right now, Jack. If Alpine Edge wins the Caulfield Guineas, I will drive down to Trent and Toby's stables and I will muck out boxes for a day.
If we don't bet in the race, which we big chance of not, God, I'm going to be roaring for this horse.
And I know Trent will gladly have me. And I'll need a full day too, because manual labour is not my strong suit.
I can imagine.
And Animo is like the best horse in the race it's the best horse in the race, and it will win. It will sit wide and it will win because there's nothing in it. This will be reminiscent of the Autumn Sun when it come down here with J-Mac on it and raced against complete nothing and just sat wide and won as arrogant AF. And that's what will happen here.
I can't argue with that. I think that's favourite.
And if it doesn't win and Alpine Edge does, I will be
creating some of the world's greatest content for next week.
I'll have horse shit permeating through my skin for weeks. Anyway, I literally just messaged Trent and said, you better watch the preview show.
And it just came back saying, you have been blocked. Again.
And look, I hope for them it wins. Of course, I hope for them it wins. I wish all the connections of every horse the best of luck and win. It'll be a big effort.
And it's going to be credit to the track staff when they do, and congratulations to whoever does win. We're really happy for you.
I wonder if Trent will shout a drink after a day's work, because he's never shouted a drink in his life. Anyway, go Alpine Edge.
Very good. Shall we move on to the Might and Power 2,000 metres? We do have a question from Tobias. Good old Tobias. This is the race that Zaki's $1.26 favourite and probably $6. From Tobias, is Shane Curlio old enough to remember Rubiton? He was a dominant Cox Plate favourite in the 1987 spring, a la Zaki. Turned up in the Caulfield Stakes at 7-2 as favourite, $1.28 for the youngsters, and got rolled. Regards, Tobias.
1987. No, I don't. I was 10.
I was 10 weeks old.
I was 10 years old. Mark Roden we would have been.
He would have been 28 or something, wouldn't he? Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. That's a fair question. I don't know. History says. I remember Lonhro getting beat as a short price favourite in a Cox Play. I was absolutely muted drunk, and I accidentally backed at a place. It got rolled, ran third. I remember that. Someone had to sign death taxes in Lonhro, and it got beat. Anyway, I digress. No, I don't remember Rubiton getting rolled at the short quote on its way to the Cox Plate. Will this thing get rolled?
What price have you got, Zaki?
Unfortunately, $1.22. Nowhere near as confident on the overlay as what I was last week when we were getting $1.38 on $1.12 chance, and I had 50% of my bank on it. This week, there's no fat
It
there.
wasn't. It was 57.2856 or something.
Yeah. There's no fat this week. It's right. It's bang on.
I think it'll drift slightly.
I hope so.
All right, so let's talk about this logically. Last time Zaki came up against Probabile, Superstorm, 50 Stars, and another horse that escapes me. This time we've got No Effort, Homesman, Probabile, Nonconformist, Nicky Jack gave. If Zaki's losing, who's winning?
Probabile is the chance. We want a bit of rain and we want No Effort to go mad.
Right.
If I was younger and still going to the races every day if we were allowed to, like how we laid Winks every time, you'd just be hoping for chaos in the race.
He has 5 rivals.
Mm.
He went 1,400 to 1,800 and, Probabile, couldn't get near it.
Probabile was backed to win it was right in the market to win the Cox Plate 11 months ago. I think it's entitled to be respected here if it gets the circumstances that suit.
Yeah, listen to us geniuses thinking Zaki or Probabile can win the race when there's 6 in it and the other 4 are fucking legless.
Yeah, anyway, let's talk about the next race. It's boring.
Yeah, I was going to say, move on. Let's have a look at the Plume Stakes or the Northwood Plume Stakes, Group 3.
Just for the younger audience at home, Pistol, Northwood Plume actually did win a Caulfield Guineas.
It's a horse.
The horse that did win the Caulfield Guineas won the CUNY Stakes at Group 2 level, won the Group 3 Dual Stakes at Caulfield also, and won the Group 1 Ansett on a firm 2 at Rose Hill on the 8th of April 1995. Just for those that are wondering, Northwood Plume was a nice, very good, proper racehorse. Mare, by the way.
Well, and coincidentally, Curls, this is a Group 3 4 mares.
Really?
Race 7.
I don't know why all mares races aren't Group 3s, Jack. What did you like here?
Well, you've got the market is La Mexicana $4, Tellier's 5, Rubisaki 6, Brooklyn Hustle 7, Dirty Thoughts 10, so is Chassis.
I'll do the map first. I reckon Dirty Thoughts will cross from 10. It'll cross Tallyher and La Mexicana. La Mexicana gets the coffin or leads if it wants. Then Paul's Regret. Maybe Chassis kicks up from 3. More Secrets and Wanaliri. Number 11. Need to make decisions. Nudge, Rubisaki, then Standoff and Brooklyn Hustle. Brooklyn Hustle was absolutely steamed in the Moya or the whatever the 1,000 metres Group 1 was at Moonee Valley.
Yeah, the D-Moore.
Very last start when D-Moore gave that Wild Ruler an absolute peach. The first and second horse in that race, which this horse was heavily backed to beat, will be in the Everest. So it's a pretty strong form reference. If you think there are chances in the Everest, then you've got to respect Brooklyn Hustle here. I really like La Mexicana. I think $4 is a great price. I think the horse is bomb-proof. I love this horse because of the way the speed it possesses and just puts itself in a good spot almost every time. And it's versatile. I think it's going to be a mile in front of horses like Brooklyn Hustle and Rubisaki at a point in the race, and hopefully it just gives us a nice little kick and gets through its gears. Be at top now, proper stable group race for a good mare, for a good stable. It's a bet. Number 3, La Mexicana.
Full stop. Can't argue that at all.
I can't argue with that at all. I'm still wondering. I'm still thinking about Brooklyn Hustle. Anyway, that was an unbelievable good betting move the other night.
Oh, just a shoot work, and also just fascinating. If you believe the narrative and the yarn of how good was that, and congratulations, and you're flying, and the Dutch ruddering and bath work that's done for Brett Preble recently. Brooklyn Hustle 1 week, sacked, Craig Williams on. It's a brutal, brutal game.
It really is.
And lots of it is just utter noise.
Okay, so the staking plan for this week?
Let's have 200 on La Mexicana.
Yep.
So that's race 7, number 3. And let's have 250 on I'm Thunderstruck to win the Toorak, please, Peter.
Okay.
At 280 or 270. I think they're two standout bets. I think La Mexicana is more of a setup profile map bet, and I'm Thunderstruck's just a bet you got to have because it's the horse on the up. And I just don't think you're going to get better than that price. They might try and take it on, but I wouldn't be surprised if it crunches at some point.
All right. Very good. Girls, can you give me a 40-second summary about Queensland this week?
Yeah, I'd love to, Peter. God.
The submarine's happening again.
What happened? Metropolitan Racing is Saturday at Eagle Farm. 9 races there, headlined by a 2,406 metre 4X Queensland Cup. Another non-betting race. Warwick Cup is the provincial meeting, no Toowoomba this Saturday. They're heading down on the Southern Downs at Warwick, and the usual Gold Coast Saturday provincial meeting. So it'll be busy, 3 meetings in the afternoon. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Is there any Moonee Valley Friday night in Melbourne? Because there's a Sunny Coast meeting.
We've got Mornington today where we've bet. I've got prices for every race. We might be betting the back half pretty heavily, depending on how the track races. And then we've got Benalla into Cranbourne tomorrow. So, nice little warm-up for Caulfield.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll bet Friday night as well.
Absolutely. And first meeting back at Ascot, which I think everyone in WA is celebrating.
Are you excited about that?
There's something really nice. Like, it happens every change of season where you actually look forward to Belmont because Ascot's falling apart, and then Belmont starts falling apart, and you just want to get back to the nice, safe, warm, shiny surrounds of Ascot.
How cool.
That's how
How's
WA
that
works.
track? I wonder if the track plays any difference with Chris Nation gone.
Well, funny you should mention that, girls. Funny you should mention that. It could be a complete and utter disaster, or it could be normal Ascot. It could go one way or the other. I'm not going to get too excited. I'm pretty cautious as to how the track will play. Rail 3 metres is usually about as fair as it gets at Ascot, which, is that a good thing that they're starting off there, or are they just planning on just a smooth entry into the season? I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see, but stay tuned.